Okay, let's talk about the particular antiderivatives. Remember that antiderivative has a constant of integration, which means that you can basically put any real number there. So there are multiple antiderivatives. So what happens next is we find the antiderivative, and we're actually looking for a particular antiderivative which satisfy the given extra condition. Right? So let's look at a couple of examples. Right? So it says that the derivative of y with respect to t is given to be 5e to the t minus 4. Right? Then the function y evaluated at the t equals 0 is supposed to be negative 1. And using these two pieces of information, we try to find the formula for the original function y. Right, so let's do that. Alright, so since derivative is given, we can take the antiderivative to go back to the original function. So y is equal to, right, antiderivative of the given derivative, so it's going to be 5 e to the t minus 4, and with respect to t, of course. Alright, then antiderivative is going to be, this is actually a pretty easy one to evaluate. So 5 is just a constant multiple, put that. Antiderivative of e to the t is still e to the t. Antiderivative of negative 4 is negative 4t. Right, so if you have a constant, you just have to multiply by t. Right, then you have plus some constant c. Right, so this is the best we can do just using this information, the first piece of information. You take the antiderivative, you get the multiple antiderivatives. Right, so we're among these antiderivatives, we're looking for the one that satisfies this second piece of information. It says that if t is equal to 0, y has to be negative 1. Right, so let's plug in t equals 0. So y of 0 using this formula is going to be 5 e to the 0 minus 4 times 0 plus c. Right, so you can see that 4 times 0 is 0, so you can just ignore that, that's 0. And remember that e to the 0 is 1. Right, so we have so this is going to be equal to, right, you have 5 times 1, so that's 5, right, then plus c. Right, and this is supposed to be negative 1, so we set this equal to negative 1. Right, then we can just simply subtract 5 from both sides to isolate c, which is going to be negative 6. Right, so now we found out that the c is negative 6, so therefore we have a complete formula for y. So y is equal to 5 e to the t, right, minus 4t minus 6. Right, so that's the c value. Right, so this is the y formula of the y that we're looking for. Right, so let's look at another example. Right, so same question, you have a derivative of y with respect to x, and we want f of 1 to be 0. Right, so first thing we do is I'm gonna try to rewrite this guy so that it looks a little bit better. Right, so you have, I don't like cube root, so I'm going to rewrite this guy as x to the 1/3 power. Right, so I'm going to split into two fractions. You're going to have 5x over x to the 1/3 power. Right, so that's basically this first, fraction right here, right, and plus, right, second fraction would be 2 over right, 2 over cube root of x. So that's going to be 2 over cube root is same thing as 1x to the 1/3 power, right? So clean it up a bit. So this is going to be equal to, right, 5 is 5, right? So x divided by x to the 1/3 power is you do a subtraction between powers. So 1 minus 1/3, it would be x to the 2/3 power, right? Plus we have 2, right? I don't like fractions, so I'm gonna write it as x to the, right, x is on the bottom, so it's gonna be a negative power, so and 1/2 power there. Alright, so that's the dy over dx, I just rewrote it, right? So let's try to find the original function y. So y is going to be the antiderivative of 5x to the 2/3 power plus 2x to the negative 1/2 power, right? With respect to x in this case. Alright, so let's do that. So this is going to be, alright, 5 is a constant multiple, so I put it in front. Alright, add 1 to the power, so x to the, right, 2/3 plus 1 would be 5/3. Right, divided by 5/3 is equivalent to multiply by 3/5. Right? And the antiderivative, let's see, there's a 2 here. Right? Antiderivative of x to the negative 1/2 would be, let's see, oh, actually I messed it up. So this is 1/3, right? So this is going to be 1/3, negative 1/3. Sorry about that. So this is 1/3, right? So it's going to be add 1 to the power. So negative 1/3 plus 1 is 2/3. Right, divided by 2/3 is same as multiply by 3/2. Right? Then you have plus some constant c. Right? So we clean up a bit. You can see that, let's see, so you have a 5 on top, 5 on the bottom, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, cancel out. So this is going to be 3x to the 5/3, right, plus 3 times x to the 2/3 plus some constant c, right? So we want to find c by using the second piece of information. So we plug in x equals 1, right? So 3 times 1 to the 5/3 is going to be just 3. 3 times 1 times 2/3 is going to be 3, because it's 1 to the any power is 1. So plus c, which is 6 plus c. And we're supposed to get 0 there. All right. Then we can simply subtract 6 from both sides, and c happens to be negative 6, right? Which is the same number as the c before, but this is just by chance. All right, so therefore we have a complete formula. Y is equal to, all right, 3x to the 5/3 power plus 3 times x to the 2/3 power, then c is negative 6, right? So this is the complete formula for y. All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.